Hi, good afternoon. I'm driving home from work. Surprise, surprise. I'm either usually driving to work or home from work. We are waiting for Tim's light chain numbers to return, and I can't really describe what that feeling feels like when you're waiting to know whether a loved one is, I don't know, something about like those numbers feel like they're moving more towards life or more towards death, more towards survival or more towards transitioning. And you know, there's nothing you can do about it except pray. And I'm in this kind of interesting place right now where I'm really contemplating miracles, and we've experienced miracles on this journey. For those of you who were around for some of the posts from last September, when Tim, you know, really was on the threshold of life and death, and we said our goodbyes because he had gone septic and was on breathing support. We said our goodbyes, and my daughter reached out to him and yelled at him in his hospital bed and said, "You have to come back." And I left the hospital that night just not knowing. I knew Tim would want me to be with the girls versus staying there overnight. And so I went and was with the girls, and before I went to bed I called, and all of his numbers started to like rebound and improve like rapidly. And I felt that whatever she had said to him spoke to him and called him back. I don't know what conversation he was having, but I think that did the trick, wherever he was on the other side. So now I'm in this place of like contemplating miracles again and thinking, you know, do we pray for these numbers to be low? Like, would that be the miracle if the numbers came back and they were really low? Or, you know, would it be a miracle from God's perspective and from the universe's perspective? Would it be a miracle for him to surrender and stop fighting? Like, I don't know. That's between him and God. That's between I don't know how you stop. It's hard to stop fighting when you've been fighting for so long, so hard, and when you feel so many people around you counting on you to fight and pull through. And I can say for myself that my prayer for him is that he has the courage to do whatever his soul needs for him to do. If that's to keep fighting, then I pray for him to have the courage for that. If he's really being called to just lay it down and surrender and move into this next phase with a peaceful trust in what lies beyond for him and for those of us that he will leave behind, then that's my prayer for him, that he can surrender. And I don't see that at all as a failure of the treatment. I think that, you know, the challenge and the struggle and the school he's been in has been called cancer, and it's been a really hard one. But I think if his numbers come back that they're skyrocketing, I don't see it as a failure. I see it that he's gone all in, and we've gone all in, and you know, we're not in control of this. the not too distant future, I will miss him like crazy. When I feel into the space where we live, he's around. He's somewhere out there doing something. I can feel him when he's at the grocery store. I can feel him when he's running errands with the girls. I can feel him when he's, trying to jury-rig the truck or the tractor or the truck for the umpteenth time, because that's what you do when you live on a farm and you try to extend the life out of things. And I feel like cancer's kind of been like that. It's like been jerry-rigging his body back into functioning, and it's given him an extension on his life, and it's given us a lot of really, really profound moments together, and some of those profound moments are super simple. And most of them are super simple, but they're profound because none of us are taking them for granted. So right now I'm praying in myself to just have the courage to respond however I need to, and to be, just continue to be the companion that he needs as he charts this course ahead. I had someone reach out with some suggestions for things that he could try that maybe he hasn't tried yet. And my response kind of was, while I've talked about the chemotherapy and, some of the conventional cancer treatments that he's done, I haven't said as much about all of the things that he tried before chemotherapy came into the picture. And the continued things that he does for his health while undergoing this cancer treatment. And early on this journey, I really I have a 30-year background in healthcare, and I have a background in working in a chronic pain clinic with a lot of alternative healing modalities. We both have had a background in ministry, and we learned to do a lot with energy work and healing and pranic healing and meditation and breath work, and we both witnessed various miracles take place for each other and in other people around us. I think early on I offered to help if he wanted it with research, and Tim's an avid researcher, and I said, if you want me to do something, I'm happy to. If you want me to make phone calls, I'm happy to. If you feel like you've got it, then I'm happy to just support you doing whatever you need to do. And he made it really clear that he was comfortable with the course that he was charting. He needed to trust in the oncology team, and he felt that he really could. He felt that he had exhausted his own attempts to try to make himself feel better, and felt like this was what he needed to do. And I just felt with every fiber of my being that my role was to step into the co-pilot seat and to let him direct his care, and that I would be there as a supportive companion, but it wasn't my call to make. It wasn't my place to pressure him to try things or get scared when I knew that there were other kinds of things that he could try. Every now and then I would just say, I found this, would you like for me to share it with you? So yeah, I think that's a hard thing to do. You know, it's a hard thing to do when we really care about someone and we are fearful of their passing. We're fearful of a time we might not be with them. I think it's really tempting to want to control it. It's tempting to want to rescue. It's tempting to want to pull someone out of their pain and the hardness of their journey. But I think that there's a lot of power in just respecting someone wherever they are, and really ask them, what do they need from you? Maybe they do need you to do the research, and then that would be a very kind and loving thing to do. But it's, I think, a kind of an invasion or intrusion upon someone's sacred space. Like, I very much see that what he has been going through is part of his own life path. It's a spiritual journey, and, you know, it's not for me to say, did this have to happen? Like, to question it or wonder, because that's crazy making. Like, if he had done things differently before, could he have prevented this from happening? If he tried these modalities or, you know, healing techniques along the way, would he have prevented us from reaching, or him from reaching this stage? Like, I don't know. That isn't my department. And we both really see kind of what he's going through personally, and what a lot of people who are having cancer go through right now. Like, this is a part of the same crisis that's impacting species all over the planet. Like, species are, you know, dying off at a pretty rapid rate. And why wouldn't we be impacted by that? Like, why wouldn't that affect us too? Why wouldn't we be a part of that same story? And it sucks. It really sucks. But I think one of the things that I come back to as someone who's kind of like navigating personal healing and like health and planetary healing through climate action, I feel like when we're touched personally and deeply, because it's affected our bodies, it's affected our life and our livelihood, it's affected our families, that we can feel compassion for what's happening for other people and other species around the planet differently than if we weren't going through it personally. I also feel like if we really take the lessons that we learn from it, it can move us to a kind of action that maybe wasn't possible for us before, because now we feel like we're informed through going through that hardship. Like, we understand things differently, we see things differently, and therefore we can show up differently in the space of action and activism in whatever ways we're called to. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. I'm gonna just keep driving home, and just felt like this is the space I'm in right now, and just wanted to share it. Feels like a weird pause and waiting. But I find that in these spaces of waiting, there's a lot of richness when I dive into it. So I just wanted to share it with you. All right. Thank you as always for being here. Peace.